This video is brought to you by Asmodee and Fantasy Welt.
What's up, Hits and Grits family? Welcome to this very special episode where we want to recruit. We want to find new recruits for the Night's Watch, not only the Night's Watch, but for a very, very special tournament, which is in recruitment phase right now, let's say. So I'm really happy to have Kullvox with me today. Great to have you, man. And we want to talk about your awesome, deep, lore-heavy, custom tournament you are come up with. And yeah, it's great to have you.
Great, thank you. It's great to be here. I know I mentioned it to you before, but I feel like you and I share a unique role in the community and a unique heart for the community that we really like connecting all the different parts, the artists, the casuals, the competitors. I think that that's something, this project is something that really reaches towards that goal and can fulfill it.
Cool, really cool. And that is what was actually the reason why I reached out, and I told you we have to talk about this on the show, right? We have to make people aware of this, because this is something in this, let's say, in this void which is created right now, or which is like we are in right now. This is a great thing to show people how this system, how this game can still live and still be awesome and grow even and be so exciting with new stuff the community came up with. And we had the custom faction series in the past. You also created a custom faction, and we talked about all of those, and so many people are trying out things, printing things, painting things. So this is great to now have this into, like, globally into a tournament, into the like virtually having this and trying it out. So that's cool. So let's jump into your tournament and give us a little elevator pitch on what it is.
All right. The elevator pitch for the Milestone Campaign League is that it combines your love of Ice and Fire with any fun knowledge that you have of the lore and wanting to have some sort of persistent gameplay, as well as if you've ever played anything like fantasy football or any lasting thing where you and your friends stay connected, you keep checking in with each other. It's very low maintenance. It's not something that you have to be involved in every day, but every time you see that friend, you go, hey, I remember what Jamie did to Rob Stark, and I'm going to get revenge against you next month. So it really is just an awesome element to add to your friendships that you already have with the Ice and Fire community.
Awesome. So this campaign is like uses like it is global, and we're using 10 faction leaders, or like 10 factions are competing against each other.
That's right. So you have the 10 base game factions, as well as this year we're adding the expansion pack of 3 of the existing custom factions, which are House Aaron, House Tully, and House Tyrell.
All right, awesome. And so also the winner is decided in a final battle between the 2 top performing factions. And what I wanted to tell you on the show, I would love to have that commentated as a live stream. Maybe like from Larix, maybe he's up to it, or like other people I can come up with in the team, and we just, live moderate it and show it to everyone on the channel if you would like to.
I would love that. I've never. We recently did that for our final battle for season 0, which is our test campaign, and Hotshot and I commentated over that, but it was the first time I'd ever put together anything like that. So to have some pros do it will be phenomenal and great for MCL.
Yeah. I mean, we can still all do it together. Maybe that's also cool. But let's see. But let's see. I think it's great to show the world who will be the winner of this first official or like bigger campaign. Yeah. So yes. in terms of structure, and I told you before, I was also like a little bit promoting around my community. And I talked to one friend of mine, and I said, you have to join this. House Aaron is only 3 people right now. So it's Nachtal, myself, and Hotshot, right? So these 3 need also like some support. And I talked to him and I said, hey, do you want to join? And he was like, I probably won't have the time. It's probably too too hard for me to come up with the time for it. And I said, well, listen. And now there's the structure. So this campaign runs 6 months. So it should be,
That's right.
at least in my world, I think it should be doable to be part of the team and play games, right? In that amount of time.
Let me tell you, Chris, I feel your pain at having recruited for this. Now, this is my second year doing it. I feel your pain. It's very intimidating to look at and hear, but I'll tell you what, I have turned down the requirements, and it's literally so flexible that almost anyone who enjoys Ice and Fire can participate in this. That is the point. It is a community building and strengthening exercise. That's the entire purpose of the whole thing. And so whether you're that guy who's super busy with their career, their full-time job, and you can get maybe a game a month, or maybe you even have to miss a month, that's fine. You can participate in the Milestone Campaign League. You can also be the guy who has a lot of free time, who can play a game every weekend, a guy who really wants to dive into the strategy with the rest of your team and help form the direction of where your armies are being placed on the global, the map of Westeros to conquer the whole thing. You can be that guy too. This system needs both, and both will have a fun time playing it.
Cool. Really cool. So Dennis, this one was out for you. I will see you in House Aaron. Right. So tell me a little bit more about the council challenge and battle phase.
Okay, so the regular campaign is played over 6 months. The council and challenge phase are the 2 phases that kick off the month. They happen all at once. We're going to be hosting them here. I live in California. We're going to have a bunch of the local guys who can make it come out, and they are going to be all in one place, except we will also have a projector screen set up with people remote. We're going to have faction leaders in the UK and Germany. We're going to have faction leaders all over the world, plus any of their teammates who want to be present and help and be giving counsel to their faction leaders. It's all going to be digital. That will all be supported. And during the council phase is where you're playing politics. Okay, this is where you're making treaties, you're making overtures, you are wheeling and dealing. You've got a currency called coin that you're trying to play that commerce game with. You're also hiring all of the different neutral characters that exist in Song. Those characters are only controlled by one faction per month. So if you want Peter Baelish, you've got to get with your faction, determine, hey, I need Peter for these lists. He's critical to our strategy. This is how much coin I think we should bid on him. And that's the time where you're going to have to set all that up. Every faction has a different little mechanic that they need to play through in council phase. It's going to take a couple hours on a Saturday afternoon for us here in California, and a Saturday night for you guys over in Europe. And it's going to be awesome. Right after that, we will roll straight into the challenge phase. Now, whereas the council phase is very free form, very conversational, again, very political, the challenge phase is very rigid. It is a strict game with turns and rules on its own. It's played on the campaign map of Westeros, and this is where the faction leaders or their representatives are actually taking we will be doing this in person on our end, but we'll also have a TTS game set up online that represents this, where we're actually taking the commander miniatures from Song and we are placing them on this giant map of Westeros, indicating where these commanders are moving their armies and trying to conquer different regions, and where the opposing factions commanders come in. And so you'll be able to see, a month in advance that you, the Night's Watch player, have placed Benjen Stark out there in the haunted forest, and here comes Harma Dogshead from the Free Folk, and they are both moving forces there, and that battle is set, and they're going to have to make sure that they have the right characters from their roster. That's the only place in the world where those characters on their roster can even play, and the stakes cannot be higher, because if those characters are injured, captured, or killed, then those effects persist. This could be the last battle that Benjen Stark plays for the entire 6 months, so you better play him right.
All right, so does that exclude him, like the infantry and the CAF commander then? I mean, it's the only case in Song, but
great question. There are actually a couple different cases like that. You've got Renly and Stannis Baratheon, who have 3 commanders each. So In this case, MCL treats the character as one person. So if Renly Baratheon is killed,
Wow.
all of his versions are unplayable. However, commanders that have different versions, those versions can appear within some geographic restrictions. They can appear multiple times in the same month. So Benjen Stark's infantry commander can play one place in that month, and then if he survives that battle, he can also participate as his cavalry commander version or as his attachment version in a different battle in the same month. But that's a whole nother layer of strategy that you have to get with your Night's Watch party and say, hey, Chris, you're really good with this infantry commander, and I'm really good with the attachment version of Benjen Stark. So I'll use the attachment, you use the commander, but make sure he doesn't die in your battle because I need him in mine later.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. So, and it says one mandatory session each month for council and challenges phase. Could you explain that?
Yeah, and what I mean by mandatory is that your faction must have a participant there. So if you're going to be playing on House Aaron, that means one of you guys, you've got 3 right now, we're possibly going to expand that to 4. One of you guys absolutely needs to be there. And hopefully that guy will have, talked to the rest of the team at some point. Again, this is why it's so freeform, so flexible. You can have these conversations over Discord while you're doing a million different things. It doesn't matter. Just check in, give your 2 cents. You only need that one representative there during council and challenge phase to formally make these declarations and make the moves on behalf of your team. Not everyone has to be there. If you want to have more people there spectating and advising, you're welcome to do so.
Awesome. All right. It seems I have to say, because I have a little bit the same problem since I started Hits and Crits, and since all this content creation, all the stuff we do is going on, it got really hard for me to play the game. So I'm still playing the game regularly, I don't know, once or twice a week, but not on, let's say, not this high-end competitive level that Larks is competing at, probably, because to compete at such levels, or to strive to become this good, you have to play each and every meta list, and you have to really train, right? You really have to practice that. And I'm with the limited amount of time I have, I enjoy more of these, I'm playing meta, but I'm enjoying more the time of, let's just throw something on the table, and we're trying our best to beat the other guy, and try out off the shelf stuff where I say, hey, pit fighters, never really played pit fighters, I'll do it now. So this sounds like a really fun thing to me, and this is why I chose House Aaron, actually, because I want to dive deeper into this custom world and want to experience the faction.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you how this actually appeals to both sides that you're talking about, Chris. And that is that the guys who love meta, there is a meta in MCL. It just hasn't been discovered yet. You've got to get in there and discover it. You've got to discover what your team needs to do in terms of separating these different characters out to min-max. If you're a min-maxer, there is a min-max in here that needs to be found, and you can do that. And you can change that. Yeah, but there's also something for the guys who are like, man, I never play this unit. I had this unit sitting on my shelf, this box. I love the minis. I've painted them. I adore them, and I never play them because they're not meta. MCL gives you a reason to play every single unit in your faction. It's awesome. You're going to get stuff off the shelf and play with that you've never played with in years.
Cool. All right, then. So this is the structure. Let's talk now battles and strategy. So battles and strategy, each faction must play 2 challenges battles per month. So this basically answers how many games you have to play, or the faction needs to play. But can you tell us a little bit more about the whole, how it all plays out over each month?
Yeah, exactly. So those first 2 phases, council and challenge, they happen back to back. We're shooting to do those both in one sitting, just on a Saturday, once per month. The rest of the month, the other roughly 29 days of the month until we schedule that next one, are battle phase. That's an open battle phase. It's totally free form. You're going to be building your army list based on the commander that is scheduled to play in each individual battle. The distinction between challenge and skirmish battles are that skirmish battles, your a faction as a team, you can just decide to not play those. You can decide to decline to play those, and there's no penalty to you. Your opponent who didn't decline, they will count as having a total victory, but there's no risk to your characters. And so they're just very low risk things to put out on the board. Your faction will have placed 2 challenge battles out on the campaign map. Those will be specifically declared as such, and so you will know that these are the battles that we're basically swearing that we will take the field in. If we don't, those commanders will be automatically injured. And there's some big penalties for that, which injured means that that character is out of play for the whole following month. So it's a pretty big deal. However, challenge battles are the ones that let you move the borders on the map. They're the ones that let you say, we've invaded King's Landing, and now it's ours. Now it belongs to House Aaron rather than House Lannister. So those are the most critical battles to your strategy. So like I said, the rest of the month is technically battle phase. That's where you're building those lists. That's where you're playing them. And they don't require anyone to be there except the participants, and then you need to log the data with one of the people who we've designated as either a scribe or a referee, just to make sure that your lists are legal in MCL. But that's why it's so flexible, and that's why when I run into people like the conversation you had, where guys are just like, man, I don't know, like I don't want to be the person gumming up the works in your system because I have a busy life. Dude, that's fine. That's awesome. It works. When you have time to play, literally all you need to do is validate your list with one of the officials, which we can do that through Discord. That's not something where you even have to be present at the same time. And then you've just got to schedule your battle with your one opponent. Or if it's a team game, that 2v2. You're literally talking to that one guy. And if it's a Tuesday morning that you want to play that battle, knock yourself out, play it. Our system supports TTS, it supports Song Sim, it supports physical play. However you want to resolve this battle, you guys play it and then get with one of our scribes afterwards and document all the results so that we can see the effects as a whole in MCL. It's a great flexible system.
Great. Before we jump into like the strategy sheets, which really caught my eye, please explain to me, what is the Red Keep? And how does it, it says grants access to the special Iron Throne strategy. And I really want to hear more about this.
Great. So each faction has what's called a strategy sheet. I decided to limit it, my one of my few limiting factors on how complex I would make this game is that I needed to fit a strategy sheet on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So that's the way I designed them, and they are all the special rules and mechanics that your faction can play. There's one for each faction. However, the faction that controls the Red Keep, which is a development. It's basically like an upgrade within King's Landing, although it does start unlocked. They get that extra strategy sheet. So the Lannisters begin the campaign with 2 whole strategy sheets. The Iron Throne strategy sheet gives you access to the small council and lets you select characters from the game to fill not only the Iron Throne itself, but each of the small council seats, giving them special campaign mechanics. And so this is a great way for whichever faction is controlling that to diplomatically manipulate all the other factions. So you're going to see the Lannisters in month 1, I'm sure, making political overtures to House Aaron, saying, I know we've had our differences in the past, but what do you think about Bronze Jon Royce being hand to the king? And look at the benefits that it will bring to your faction. So it's a ton of fun.
Sounds really good. So, and also before we take a look at these great sheets you come up with, so we started talking, and I really, you can feel, I really dig the idea of this because, again, time restrictions. I love the lore. I love to see things that are not played often. I really love all the rest of the game next to, like, I play Double Tully Calf and a Wolf, right? So, So that being said, I was really eager to collab with you and bring this like even more to life as it already is. So So we decided to join forces and give price support to it, and also we talked about the streams. We will cover more and more. We will promote and use our reach to make this campaign bigger as the first one, or the beta one. And yeah, that's basically it. So how does that structure out in your mind?
Well, I am thrilled beyond anything. Hits and Crits is definitely the biggest, most influential song community piece right now, and so to team up with you is just makes me so stoked. So we're looking at a couple different elements. The main headline thing is prize support. You guys have a great selection of things to offer. We're still in talks right now about exactly what's going to come out. I'll let you make any announcements on that. But you have this awesome contest going on right now with the development of the Tattered Prince, and I just love the way you do it. You picked the exact perfect character for this somehow. I don't know how you landed on this, but it's literally just the perfect guy. I mean, not only could you make him match your organization's color scheme, but also it's just the ideal person to have as a one-off. It's the ideal person to put out in the community for their own interpretation, because the character is so open to interpretation. I love it.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be too mad if you don't pick my development choices for it, but I will unblock you and slash your tires. So hopefully you'll pick mine.
All right. Understood.
Okay. So proud to announce that part of our partnership is that the Tattered Prince is going to be added to Milestone Campaign League. He's going to be a character that we consider as eligible for play. He's going to get special character traits, just like all the other characters in our campaign. Whatever versions you release, I don't know if you're planning specifically on doing a commander, but certainly at least the attachment and NCU versions will be playable in whatever form that Hits and Crits releases them, and it's going to be awesome. That's going to be one more character to bid on during council phase. Really good stuff. And then finally, just with the last updates that you've done with your collaboration with Song Stats. You have begun a critical piece that is going to let stats be a great tool for MCL players, and that is you've added the first custom faction, you've added House Tyrell, and you've added CBA, which MCL is going to use CBA rules throughout the entire 6 months. So if there's any CMON official updates that come out, I know there's talk right now about releasing things faction by faction or whatever. In terms of CBA, in terms of MCL, we're going to stay with CBA for the 6 months. If you want to play other stuff, awesome, that's fine. I encourage you to. I am to test it out, but we're going to be using CBA. And so the fact that you now have that built into stats and we can do all our special MCL list calculations on stats is just a great service to us and the rest of the community. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, sure. Actually, like to add a little bit more context to both to the Tattered Prince and stats. So let's start with stats. We were actually thinking the same thing, because we have seen that the choice of releasing new patches, releasing playtesting files, releasing patches changed over like lately, and we were aware of this like a little bit ahead of time, and we decided that this would be a great way to keep the community engaged and keep them on stats also, and try out stuff. And we for now we implemented this so you can easily build the stuff, and we will have a video coming up explaining how to put it into TTS quickly, and like it's a little bit trickier than usual, but it's not. It's you just have to know two things. It's just open it not in Excel, open it in a text editor, and just copy paste there, and then you're fine. So it's not that hard. So we were thinking that is a great way to start, and we will bring up all the other all of your cool custom factions. We will bring them into stats as soon as we have the resources, I have to say. But we are like tirelessly nights and nights and nights working on this site to make it as
I know it's a ton of work. It's a ton of work.
as accessible as we can. And even though you do not see a lot of things like behind what you can see, but we're trying to be as quick as possible with this. Yeah.
Now, I know how much work that is. I've worked on it before. It is a total headache, and we have time. MCL doesn't start until January, so there's plenty of time.
Cool.
I'm sure there will be further developments, but even in the current state, it's already a huge help. And the reason is because in MCL, the base game has all these ways that to give you discounts to your points. One of the things that makes the battles fun and thematic is in MCL is that you get bonuses. You get +1s to your army size for bringing certain units. That's a unique thing to MCL. And so the fact that we can now have a system that can build those things in or make some of those calculations quickly, possibly in the future, is huge.
Yeah, cool. So we will do as quick as possible. So we need Tully, Aaron, and that's it. So those two, we will work
right now. Yeah, for this year, it's just going to be Tyrell, Tully, and Aaron, and then next year we'll go forward.
So there's our roadmap through, so we got it. Okay, so on the Tattered Prince, just one sentence. Tomorrow, so this recording takes place on the 18th, and tomorrow is the final day. So when this video releases, it will already be passed. But I can tell you, we have I do not know the exact number, but about 30 submissions for the Tattered Prince, or for the versions of it. So some entered both, some entered just one version, so just the NCU or just the attachment, and others even gave us the full set and included even a commander with it. So there might be a commander version as well, probably not for your campaign, but we will have it like in our back pocket. So it will be there. So so that's that on the Tattered Prince. So now finally, the most exciting thing for me, at least, are the sheets for each faction, and we will start with, and just out of pure interest, being really selfish on this one, but the wall, right? So please explain how these work out on these, let's say, regular factions, official factions for the Night's Watch. Just give us some examples how unique it is per faction.
Great. So the Night's Watch obviously only cares about the wall. This is a great example for at the fundamental design stage of MCL. I had to think about, does it make sense and would it be fun for Night's Watch players if, in order to win the campaign, they just had to basically conquer all of Westeros and turn all of Westeros black and go down and conquer King's Landing? No, that's silly. No. That's not why Night's Watch players picked Night's Watch. They don't want to do that. They want to go sulk at the wall with their Jon Snow faces and and defend against Free Folk and the White Walkers. That's why they picked the faction. They want that feeling. And so that's what the strategy sheets do. The strategy sheets give each individual faction their own path to victory. And for the Night's Watch, it's all about just doing their job, man. They're just up there. They don't care about what BS is going on down in lower Westeros. They have a job to do, and by the old gods, they're gonna do it, right? So defending the wall. So the wall region itself is split up into, the wall realm, which is like our term for a larger area, is split up into the gift plus the 3 regions of the wall, the 3 main castles, Castle Black, Shadow Tower by the Shadow Tower and Eastwatch by the Sea. And if you are familiar with the lore, you'll know that there's also all these abandoned castles. There's these 16 abandoned castles along the wall, and it's this dream, this sort of almost out of reach hope that these castles can ever be re-garrisoned to really give true security to the rest of Westeros. And in MCL, you can make that happen. The faction leader and his team are working to restore those abandoned castles. They are restored through means of donations of might from other factions and from the Night's Watch themselves. So normally might isn't an exchangeable currency. It's instead kind of the victory points for the whole system. But uniquely for Night's Watch, to represent the idea of actually sending fighting aged males to the wall, they can accept donations of might from other factions. Now, the problem with that is that it's a really tough sell because everybody's trying to keep and build up their own might in order to win. So the Night's Watch have to find these unique ways to appeal to the other factions for donations of might to rebuild these castles along the wall. Now, for most of the campaign, probably almost the whole campaign, the Night's Watch will be very near the bottom of what we call the might ranking, which is like the scoreboard that determines a couple different buffs and a couple different orders of operation for turns and such like that. The Night's Watch are going to be at the bottom because they're struggling. They're just barely making it through. However, the Night's Watch are one of two what we call sleeper factions, which means that they get enormous lump sums of might at the end of the campaign based on how well they did their job, based on how well they focused on the true tenets of the Night's Watch, just kept their heads down, did their job, and restored these castles and protected the realms. So there's this section there at the bottom that gives these multiplier payouts at the end of the campaign for how many castles they restored, how many defensive battles they fought, and a bunch of other stuff like that just reward them for doing what they wanted to do anyway, what the average Night's Watch player wants to do anyway, which is defend the wall, defend the realms of men, be the sword in the darkness. So it's going to be a great time, and I anticipate there's going to be some fun moments where a lot of the bigger factions are looking down the might ranking and going, who's my threats, who's my rivals? Oh, well, certainly not the Night's Watch. Look at how low their score is. They're not going to be doing the math in their own head, and they're going to get a big surprise at the end of month 6 when the Night's Watch have been doing their job all along. They come up with 100 extra points, and all of a sudden they're in the final battle and nobody saw it coming.
Man, I think I have to switch factions. Can I still? I don't know. Let's see. I will stay with House Aaron until. Okay. I will stay with House Aaron because you have to pitch that too right now. And maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. When you came up with this, how is that being different when you design something for a custom faction, which is not an official one? Are there differences when creating that, or are you just saying the lore is XYZ and I'm doing it like every time it's the same? Are there differences?
Great question. I have to do both, Chris. As a developer, I have to do both. I have to both make it unique from a gameplay standpoint and fit the lore. That's the fun challenge. That's what I'm passionate about. That's why I do this. So in Season 0, our test campaign that we ran throughout this year, 2025, that just ended recently, there were only the 10 base game factions. Now, in this time period, the off season, I call it, as we're gearing up for Season 1, the official public launch with big faction teams, now we are adding my first expansion pack to the game. This expansion pack is called the Vassal Lords. I hope to do an expansion pack every year, and this one adds these 3 custom factions, and they share a unique quality, and that is that they are called vassal factions. Okay, so these 3 factions, they cannot win the entire campaign by themselves like the base game 10 factions. Okay, so a Night's Watch faction, if they do their job awesome, they make it to the final battle and win, the Night's Watch could be the sole winners of the entire Milestone Campaign League. These custom factions, like House Aaron, cannot. They can only win as a teammate of a one of the core 10 factions that wins, and they have to be that teammate's selected vassal. Okay, so now there's this relationship between vassal factions, and if they swear fealty to someone, now overlord faction. So an overlord faction is a base game faction that has accepted the fealty of a vassal faction, one of these 3 vassal factions. So these 3 vassal factions actually are going to end up being hugely important because they can contribute so much strength to any of the base game factions that as lots of people are going to be vying for the fealty of those factions in order to get big might gains for themselves. So let's look specifically at House Aaron. Now, all three of them are unique. House Aaron's thing is, unlike the other two factions, House Aaron wants to stay independent for as long as possible. House Aaron loves isolation. They love staying out of things. We're up here in our mountains. It's like cool if you want to come. That's right. That's right. They are the Swiss of the Ice and Fire universe. If you want to come hate life, climbing billy goating your way up these mountains while we drop boulders and arrows on your heads, then literally knock yourself out. But other than that, we're cool up here. We've got food stockpiles, we've got cool castles, and knock yourselves out down there in lesser Westeros, right? So House Aaron. You'll see the right side of the faction sheet. This is a part of the faction sheet that the template is shared between all three vassal factions. They all have the same template. They've got an independent might rank. That's a number that's treated as their might rank if they're not a vassal. They've got some special rules about who they can swear fealty to during which month and when they can be independent, although all vassal factions do have to end up picking a final overlord at the end of month 6. And then they've got some special rules for challenge phase. So remember, we talked about earlier how all the base game factions, they're going to put out 2 challenge battles per month, and then any number of skirmish battles based on how many commanders they have left. The vassal factions only get 1 challenge battle per month. So they can only make 50% of the map impact that a base game faction can make. But for the Aarons, they have lots of really cool ways to boost their army size. They've got a little map there under Solitude of the Vale that sort of lists the region or development that each of their commanders calls his personal home. Mm-hmm. And as long as those personal homes are held by either the Aarons themselves or whichever overlord they're currently sworn in fealty to, they get these big pluses, +2, +3, +4 to their army size. So they do have the ability to deploy some really strong forces. With House Aaron, I love the lore dynamic of the Lord's Declarant versus Peter Baelish. That power dynamic, the mutual hatred, the corruption, the politics, the backroom dealing that goes on in the Vale. And so all of that is reflected through game mechanics in MCL. Unlike most factions, the Aarons will be very good at sieges because the Eyrie is famously an impregnable fortress, and the Aarons will be unusually many opportunities to deploy multiple commanders at once. So they'll actually be able to deploy armies that have 2 commander attachments in them and split the tactics deck where each commander gets 1 commander tactics card instead of the normal pair.
So 3 each.
That's right.
Yeah, cool.
3 each. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's going to be a unique thing to the Aarons, that they can basically do that every time in a challenge battle. So if you like, I can see the weird affinity connection that you have between Night's Watch and the Aarons, and that they're both secluded, they're both minding their own business, doing their job, and don't care about anyone else. So I see the connection. That's very cool. I think that you'll get a good flavor of that from the Vale as well. I bet. If you do decide to stick with House Aaron, watch out, man, because it's a very tempting target, the Vale, for a lot of larger powers. So I would anticipate that you're going to be doing a lot of defending mountain passes, which are unique narrow map types that sometimes get used based on the region in MCL. So cook up some good plans for that if you plan on playing the Aarons.
Understood. I think I can't leave my brothers alone. Like Nachtalp and Hotshot, they committed to House Aaron. So I will stick with my brothers on this one. So yeah. I will stay there.
All right, we'll send Rusty to the wall. They need more men up there in the Sworn Brothers as well.
Cool. Well, maybe soon. And like normally he's a Targaryen first, interested in brotherhood. We need that too. Exactly. So I will make another pitch maybe later. So yeah, great. great to see. So this basically, and I hope everyone that is watching understands how much work goes into this, how much like deep knowledge also. How long does that take? And that was one final question for me before we jump into like another thing on price support and basically close this. How long does it take for you to come up with such a campaign or an individual strategy sheet or something? Give me a feeling of how much work is this?
It's all my free time. It's all my free time, but I love doing it. Again, to go back to the beginning of our conversation, how I feel some camaraderie with you about being like a community builder and bringing together people with different tastes and different motivations. That's what it was for me.
Yeah.
As soon as I got into Song, I immediately plugged in like 9 other people in my life to different factions, just because I want the social experience of playing with people and having an extra something to talk about with people socially, and just sort of that ongoing fun conversation of a hobby that we share, that we're passionate about. And so doing this, working on this, never feels like work. It always feels like fun. It's combining this lore and trying to cook up things that give me the reaction that you just gave when I described Night's Watch. And I knew that you were going to be stoked that mechanics reflect the reason that you even like the idea of Night's Watch at the beginning. That is the cream for me. That is the reason I do it. And like I said, bringing together my friends who are min-maxy, list building, meta studying, Discord addicts, with people who basically just love the TV show and only play the game because it reflects the TV show. If I can bring those two people together and they're both having fun playing the same system, then I've won.
Yeah. Wise words, and I can so much relate. So we're definitely on this together. So like actually all your free time. So my free time lately went into the Tattered Prince we already talked about. So on price support, these are so these are the final prints, the final prints of the miniature. So this is how the miniature will look in the end. What will be thrown out there for each participant that participated in the contest, for example. And what you see around it is the case it will be delivered in. And we need definitely something around this. So let's say when when we're done and the Tattered Prince goes out to you, it will really, really look cool next to other promo miniatures. It will really look cool on your shelf or whatever, or if you want to play it or whatever. We already showed off some, or like Mitch already showed off his painted miniature. Maybe it focuses. Let's see if that works. No, it probably doesn't. But there it is. So
I haven't seen that.
So that's
I haven't
from
seen
Mitch.
that. That is super cool. Yeah.
So when you want to paint it, this is a really fun miniature to paint, as you said, because it's so colorful. You can do whatever you want with this, and you're never wrong. You're never wrong with this one because it has like this, whatever, thousands and thousands of like tatters across his cloak and like everything. So you can paint it whatever you do, it will be correct and it will look really good. So I'm thinking there will be price support with this for the campaign. Obviously, we will also throw in some Song of Ice and Fire stuff we have in our stash. We have in our like in our treasure chest also. So it will be a price support. As you said, we still have to come up to a final decision on are there certain like let's say special prizes, is there a ranking, is there probably, I don't know, like best per faction or whatever. But we will come up with something really cool for you guys with a price support. And until now, no one that we collaborated with was in any way unsatisfied with the price support. So I will guarantee satisfaction with our price support today. And now it's official because it's on YouTube, and YouTube or never happened, right? So so now it's official. All right, so great, man. It was so fun talking to you. And I really have to say a big thank you in my name, in the name of the Hits and Crits team, in the name of the whole community. I just take this and thank you for all your work, for all your passion on this, and especially because I said in the beginning, because there is this void existing right now where everyone is like excited and sometimes but also a little bit like afraid of like what's happening, what what is about tactics, and as we stated in past videos, and I get this question a lot of times. Right now, I am not afraid in any way about this system or tactics. I'm certain we will have months and years to come with a great game, especially when I know people like you exist, campaigns like you do will pop up out of the blue, basically, and all the custom factions and all the stuff the people do. These great people in our community just makes me feel there's no reason to be afraid.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. All right. Any last words from you before we close it down?
No, thank you so much. I hope to see you in the campaign. Everybody reach out to me if you're not already hooked up in MCL. My Patreon is patreon.com/Kullvox. If this is something where you're like, I want this for my local group of friends, I'm not interested in the global one, I can help you set that up as well. I've got documentation for all my system. And honestly, I just want to see the community grow, people have fun, and enjoy this game. So thank you very much.
Yeah, always. This is actually something I want to do, like you just mentioned it, like locally. This is something I want to implement in our local club, because like there, it's really lore heavy in there. It's not the meta chasers in my club. It's more like like people that just enjoy the game and are deep in the lore. So it will really be something really cool to try out with them. All right.
Yeah, we already have one satellite chapter of MCL. Just to give a quick shout out to the Activate Pivot Charge crew under Jerome Reaper. He's got MCL Quebec. They've already run the system, so it's totally transferable. I would love to see MCL Germany start sometime next year. It'd be awesome.
Okay, we'll talk about this.
All
right, man. I think there's nothing more to say until we meet again.
Great.
Roll those.
Thank you very
much.
Come for the hits and stay for the crits.